Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game, FranSe versus KraV. This game taking place here on the ruins of Ashara. KraV spawning as the teal Night Elf on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Let's go ahead and speed things up just a little bit more. Meanwhile, FranSe spawning as the red orc. Alright, red orc opening up with a very classic Altar of Storms burrow right next to those peons there. I know in the past, well, if you lined up your buildings absolutely perfectly, you could have them move and be able to mine with only 4 peons. That was changed since. That's why the peons are actually moving a little bit slower than normal, to make sure that you cannot mine effectively with 4 peons there. Same thing can be done with human. But there is ways to work around it. You can do that, a 4 mining peon trick. It does take a lot of micro, so not something sustainable. But at the same time, if you're able to do it effectively, you are able to mine with 4 peasants or peons early on, get a little bit more additional lumber, and then, well, perhaps get a 5 or 10 second advantage over your opponent. Anyways, KraV opening things up here with a Goblin Tinker going up against a Farseer. Farseer opted to go for, well, War Mill first, and then teching to the Great Hall, the Barracks, and that Orc Burrow. So this is a very, very aggressive tech play by FranSe here, as he does creep out this location here with those Spirit Wolves. Gonna do that again now. Go after these medium armored units first, as they take a little bit extra damage. And well, they also dish out a little bit more damage as well. You can see, well, can't see it anymore, that Troll Trapper now taken down, but gotta take my word for it. High damage piercing against these Spirit Wolves will take them out quickly. Now going after the Centaur Outrunner too. It looks as though the Outrunner may end up getting taken down, but the Farseer purposely taking the damage now just to speed up this creeping time. Alright, gonna pick up the Tome of Strength, pick up the Potion of Replenishment, and this will allow FranSe to continue creeping along his merry way. Or achieve turn Chief Medora, but why would you do that? Yeah, you could do that early on, but yeah, why would you do that? Death Knight with Unholy Aura could do it for his partner, I guess, in a 2v2 matchup, but then again, why would you do that either? Coming back through, Farseer now making its way across here, could try and steal this last Forest Troll Warlord, putting pressure onto the Tree of Life, and KraV with a Goblin Tinker here. There's that Chain Lightning bouncing around. It ends up getting denied by the creeps, as the Pocket Factory about to get shut down here. Ring of Protection +5, and I believe that was a Tome of Intelligence +2, as FranSe is still taking quite a bit of damage on his Farseer. The Farseer, however, can easily use that Potion of Replenishment and that Cloak of Shadows effectively together to regenerate hit points while staying close by and not being able to be hit. I think FranSe perhaps forgot that he had a Cloak of Shadows, now currently just hiding off right here. Alright. Archer is also shadow melding next to that Farseer, waiting to see what's going to happen next. But this is one of those strange things early on for Orc players, when they're trying to go up against Night Elves. You never quite know what's the size of your opponent's army at first night. Alright, there I believe, are we going to see a final attack? No, we are not. Archer able to stay alive, has a little bit more regeneration as well at night as the units retreat back again. Tech to tier 2 already done. We are going into a Tauren Chieftain. We are getting up a Bestiary and a Spirit Lodge. So FranSe very much heavy in the tech mode, already at tier 2, getting up the second hero. Meanwhile, KraV has started and is about halfway done with his tech to tier 2 as well. He is going to be, well, he is going to be dealing with a number of raiders here. I believe perhaps a Kodo Beast as well. Stronghold needs to upgrade the Fortress to get the Berserker upgrades, as that extra 100 hit points does go a long way. Now, a couple of more units going to get cleaned up here. Ring of Protection +4. Healing Salve, Clarity Potion, trying to clean up the rest of these Quill Boar Hunters. These Hunters should end up getting taken down pretty easily. There goes one. Oh, come on, just finish off that low hit point guy right there. And looking back at the Headhunter, Headhunter does, well, not actually regenerate hit points that quickly unless we get that upgrade soon. Kodo Beast is out here on the battlefield, giving a 10% upgrade to everything, as we are now out on the move again. Alright, both sides opting to do their creeping right now. You see the Centaur Impalers and the Centaur Sorcerers. High piercing damage, well, deals quite a bit. We can see Bloodlust across all of those other units, as well as the Goblin Tinker, well, looking to finish things off here. Gloves of Haste, Boots of Speed, and Boots of Quell the Loss, as KraV's Goblin Tinker just shy of level 4. Meanwhile, the Farseer is just shy of level 3, and the Tauren Chieftain is going to be hitting level 2 fairly quickly as well. Tech to tier 3 already started by FranSe here, and we should be getting that Berserker upgrade, and perhaps as an option, setting up a tiny Great Hall. Alright, FranSe also opening things up with the Spirit Wolves here to try and clear out this creep camp. FranSe's Tauren Chieftain actually took a little bit of the experience that the Farseer needed to get to level 3. There's a quick reveal there by the Goblin Laboratory. Gloves of Haste, and I believe the Goblin Tinker will be using that potion of use the potion of replenishment. You'll find another item slot and then pick up that last Gloves of Haste, now having a fast attack speed. Both sides moving along their merry way. FranSe perhaps having an idea where exactly KraV is. Spirit Wolves are now down, not even bothering to check the high ground. There are a couple of, corpses there, as the Goblin Tinker is on the high ground again. Is he going to come down? Oh, comes back across and now able to hide away. Wow, what a lucky break for KraV, not having to burn a Scroll of Town Portal, getting caught out in the open. Now KraV is up on bases, 2-1 right now. He is teched to tier 2, getting up Ancients of Wind. So are we going for perhaps more Druids of the Talon? And Druids of the Talon worked out well when your opponent has, well, I would say a tall army, units that have a large amount of hit points, units that have high supply counts. But when your opponent has a go-wide army with Troll, Witch Doctors, and these Headhunters, well, you can't really siphon all of them enough. Goblin Tinker now going to be coming in from the opposite side here. Tauren Chieftain does have Stomp over Shockwave, though, as we see Stasis Traps now being thrown down as well. Pocket Factory quickly going to get cleaned up here. There is a Stasis Trap followed by a Stomp. Could have delayed it or offset it a little bit more. A couple of archers getting taken down. Forestall Berserker taken down there, as there's a quick stun going back the other way. Tauren Chieftain says, I too can stun you as well, as the Goblin Tinker now down to 165 hit points, maybe forced to retreat back, as the Potion of Invulnerability still has a bit of time to go. Alright, Potion of Invulnerability here. The Centaur Impaler, actually the one dealing a lot of the damage here, as the Tauren Chieftain is just shy of level 3. One left Centaur Impaler back across over there. There's another stun. Are we going to see that Troll Witch Doctor getting taken out? There's level 3 now on the Tauren Chieftain, as the Tauren Chieftain trying to catch up to that Goblin Tinker. Goblin Tinker double backs around. There's a stun right there. And are we going to see it? No, not enough mana for the Tauren Chieftain to put his foot down. All right, we finally see a Pit Lord as the third and final hero, as it is going to, well, a Farseer, a Tauren Chieftain, and a Pit Lord with Cleave. So another hero that can dive on into the targets and perhaps rack up a bit of damage, so the Tauren Chieftain can put his foot down and then have the Pit Lord perhaps slice and dice his way through. Tinker without passive skill is that good. Normally the passive skill, it works better because it's passive. It does not require nearly as much mana. That's the problem when you don't have that passive skill. You often find that your hero is going to be out of mana, but it's also one of the reasons why Night Elf players are often the only ones who can do it, because they have these Moon Wells to not only heal up, but to instantly replenish that mana. Now, KraV actually going for Fairy Dragons over Druids of the Talon, interestingly enough, as we're going to be seeing an engagement here. The Pocket Factory going to crank out a couple of Clockwork Goblins, but it does take a little bit of time because, well, as was mentioned, there is no, none of that passive ability. All right, give me 1 second. All right, coming back around. Tree of Life now being placed down. KraV looking to set up an expo here on the south side here, KraV is still mining away pretty easily with 10 minutes of mining left in the main base. Meanwhile, FranSe off over here, he is at Fortress, hasn't set up a tiny Great Hall yet anywhere, and that does come as a surprise. That's one of the big benefits of going for Fortress, as we do see the Witch Doctors have mastery training. All right, FranSe may purposely leave back one of these Witch Doctors so that there is an easy access to healing. Leaving one Witch Doctor back at home for those healing wards every time you have to, scroll of Town Portal back is a strong choice, as the Witch Doctors, well, they do have a little bit good regeneration here. Coming back, we are getting up the thorium ranged weapons, that 2-0 upgrade. No reinforced defenses yet, however, on those Orc Burrows. Clockwork Goblins, well, gonna be popping on out here. Orc Burrow, well, doing a little bit of attacks going back the other way. Farseer could easily just finish this off, and it is the Pocket Factory that gives the experience, not these Clockwork Goblins, as you may expect. Now, Tree of Life, wow, KraV taking a play out of Moon's playbook, expanding everywhere, so even if one expansion gets taken down, another one could get set up easily. FranSe off now going for these Witch Doctors. Interestingly enough, that Tauren Chieftain has a decent amount of hit points, also has a Scroll of the Beast, and, well, Endurance Aura, which should quickly be sold. Alright, these Witch Doctors need to back up here. Tauren Chieftain could put his foot down. There's a Goblin Shredder to join in on everything. There's another healing ward, making sure that that Tauren Chieftain stays on top of things. Meanwhile, what is KraV doing? He's just wandering around, setting up expos, and, well, sitting at 49 over 70 supply with 1,000 gold in the bank. At some point, he is going to start breaking into upkeep. We can see that there is a lot of Fairy Dragons currently in play with 2-2 upgrades as well. Perhaps 3-3 upgrades are in the near future. All right, where are those up? Where is that Hunter's Hall? Oh, Hunter's Hall off over here. We are getting into 3-3 upgrades. All right, so KraV going to try to take a win out of the economic playbook, spending gold for higher upgrades while being low on taxes.
Player's forces are
all right, coming back off to the north here. However, he's going to be dealing with a large number of higher level heroes. We're looking at a level 4 Farseer, level 4 Tauren Chieftain, and a level 3 Pit Lord. That Pit Lord, however, going to quickly find that his Howl of Terror and Cleave does absolutely nothing to the magic, immune, and flying units of KraV. Unless we see some sort of Orb of Venom or Orb of Lightning on his targets, not much is going to be done, as we see healing wards now being placed down here. Kodo beasts are out as well. That is some Berserkers. Berserkers should really be going into that frenzy. Berserk, yeah, that is a fast attack speed with that Tauren Chieftain's Endurance Aura in that front line spot. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Goblin Tinker going to throw down some Clockwork, some Pocket Factories, and get in a bit of stunning here as KraV trying to constantly engage. All right, perhaps trying to do a little bit of a base trade scenario. Tree of Life down to 87 some odd hit points. It could end up getting taken down and just needs a little bit more damage here as the Pit Lord finally finishes things off. Should be able to finish off multiple of those. A quick stomp there would have, well, stopped their repairs for quite a while. As we look off to the north, the Clockwork Goblin the Goblin Tinker with those Clockwork Goblins able to take down that Goblin Shredder, apparently not liking any mechanized units except for himself. Are we going to get some repairs? Yes, we are. There's a purge onto the Goblin Tinker with more repairs underway. Orb of Lightning really doing a little bit of a save right there. There's another round of stun, and we see some more damage getting added up again. There's a Chain Lightning as well, but may not be enough as that Goblin Shredder tries to retreat back. Meanwhile, this base looks like it is going to fall. More Fairy Dragons are getting added in, and FranSe, perhaps expecting that he's in a decent spot, doesn't realize that there is an army of Fairy Dragons who are nearly fully upgraded, ready to engage and take him out. All right. Advanced Reinforced Hides, nearly done with that upgrade. We can see the base off over here at the 3 o'clock side, still mining away, or getting set up. Meanwhile, the 9 o'clock side is fully saturated, so it is still, well, better for KraV and his economic advantage. 51 supply compared to 76 as the fairy dragons are now on the move. Alright. Tree of Life of KraV gonna get taken down. FranSe probably giving himself a pat on the back, thinking that he now has the economic advantage, not realizing that, well, KraV is, well, definitely 2 steps ahead with a very large army ready to engage, take all of this down. And here we are, here we go. Pocket Factory here, and with phase shift, Goblin Tinker now getting up to level 6. We're going to see Robo Goblin perhaps as that ultimate ability and, well, dealing massive amounts of damage. All right, fairy dragons here. Can't believe how many dragons we are looking at in this matchup. The Berserkers obviously cannot focus fire down any of these fairy dragons, as the fairy dragons will just simply phase shift if necessary. All right, Troll Witch Doctors getting pounded pretty much in an instant as the units are trying to retreat back again. Troll Bat Rider, however, dives in onto those fairy dragons, and you saw how many of those phase shift right there. Potion of healing right there. Stunning coming back around. 71 supply compared to 48. More Troll Bat Riders, however, not getting trained up. There's a couple of Troll Bat Riders here, doubly queued up in the same bestiary as the Goblin Tinker escapes away at 62 hit points. Back at home, Robo Goblin here. He is spell immune right now. He's trying to heal back up, perhaps try and get some Moonwell's potions of healing. And we've seen KraV do these strange, crazy plays before. He just all-ins on this one particular strategy and tries to come away with the victory. KraV, however, should be upgrading these Moonwells. Moonwell capacity and Moonwell fill rate at the rate at which he's just constantly trying to heal. Goblin Tinker back up to level, or sitting at level 6. And, well, trying to inch towards level 7, perhaps we'll actually start getting that passive ability. However, the Troll Bat Riders have plans of their own, trying to win things the other way. There's that phase shift, and once again, once you phase shift, the unit is gone and can't be attacked, and so the follow-up Troll Bat Rider doesn't do nearly as much damage. All right, there you are. There you go. Back in play here. There's a Howl of Terror. Both sides trying to fight their way through. Stunning coming back around. FranSe are now trying to retreat back. Tauren Chieftain and Pit Lord still fighting their way through as the Robo Goblin now back across here. New Troll Bat Riders are starting to dive on in as well. 37 supply compared to 59. This massive all-in strategy of Troll Bat Riders, as we're looking at the Troll Bat Witch Doctors on the ground here, trying to keep things alive and going. Fairy Dragon still trying to chase after those other units again. Tauren Chieftain does not have any way to attack the air, neither does the Pit Lord. Without Orb of Lightning, well, they can't really do very much at all. Alright, Goblin Tinker, that Robo Goblin dealing bonus damage to the Orc Burrows, as we're looking at the Fairy Dragons with their high armor still able to stick around in this fight here. FranSe should give that Orb of Lightning back to the Tauren Chieftain, or perhaps even that Pit Lord, in order to gain some attacks on the air, as the Robo Goblin still working his magic through, trying to take down all of these buildings, and, well, using those rocket stuns as effectively as possible. All right, phase shifting constantly. FranSe seeing that level 5. Tauren Chieftain already at 5. Pit Lord sitting at 4. Goblin Tinker sitting at, Tauren Chieftain at 5. Pit Lord at 4. Wow, trying to lost my train of thought there in mid-sentence. Now, KraV's large economic advantage is still there. He's mining off more bases, but the supply advantage is starting to get neutralized. The Tauren Chieftain now has that Orb of Lightning that I mentioned earlier, opening up, or, well, it did, no, giving it to the Pit Lord. Pit Lord with that Orb of Lightning now should have another strong target to try and attack these flying fairy dragons. Coming back down to the south side here, gonna try and, well, stop this entangled gold mine before it gets really fully saturated. But this base here, sparse and, well, able to mine in peace so easily. KraV gonna lose this gold mine here, perhaps a couple of detonations. There's a chain lightning, a stomp as well, as the Robo Goblin is still off on this side now. Clarity Potion could use an potion of invisibility as well, as the Wisp could come around and perhaps try to get some repairs going for KraV. All right. You can see a Goblin Tinker just using these
Player's
moon wells
forces are under attack.
as best he can to try and stay topped off on mana. Goblin Tinker also has that orb of venom. So he's going to be able to do a little bit of damage over time as these units are retreating back. Little bit of gold left in the main gold mine now. 3 minutes of mining. Meanwhile, KraV only about 10 seconds of mining left back at home in the main base, as he will need to find another base to try and attack. All right, Scroll of Healing coming online, trying to engage against all of these units. Going to go ahead and try and stun them down, as the Goblin Tinker now in a little bit of trouble using a Potion of Invulnerability. Pocket Factory now going to get destroyed here. You can see some of these units are getting taken out. Goblin Tinker down to 400 hit points. Is he going to be able to stay alive, as he's getting quite a bit of focus? There's a round of stun coming off again. Goblin Tinker down to 184 hit points. Could use that Potion of Lesser Invulnerability and get away, but instead just simply rolls on out. All right, more damage coming back across. There's a little bit of stun right there, trying to finish off some of those units. Troll Bat Rider getting in some damage on that Goblin Tinker. There's another Troll Bat Rider suicide move, causing a bit of phase shifting in order to reduce the amount of damage, as we see another round of stun going across here. Goblin Tinker down to 40 hit points now says, you know what, I do need to use that Potion of Invisibility and head back out. Fairy Dragons could have a very bad day here. Are we going to see some phase shift, extra damage onto those units? Force Troll Berserker getting trained up by FranSe, and KraV's strategy seems to be falling a little bit short now, but he does have the economy going for him still. 2 bases compared to soon, 2 bases compared to 1 for now, as there's still 90 seconds of mining left. Fairy Dragons retreating back. 3/3 upgraded Fairy Dragons. Moonwells still without the Moonwell Blessing upgrade. Going to be difficult for KraV to keep this army alive and going. Pure Vitality dropped. Going to go ahead and try to drink up from as many Moonwells as he can and then pick up that item once more. I believe there's still another couple of Moonwells here. They're going to get, they're pretty much going to get drained. Perhaps the Goblin Tinker can buy another Scroll of Healing. Has a Moonstone and also an anti-magic potion just in case, as we see a Forest Troll Shadow Priest also coming across to give a little bit of additional healing. Adding a Dryad into this mix here. Goblin Tinker trying to roll out. There is armies all coming back across, and that is a big bit of damage right there. One Fairy Dragon now finished off here. Where did the Robo Goblin go? Back off to the north. He is just going to try to dive head on into this base and perhaps finish off some of these buildings. Raiders might have been the better call at this point and stage in the game here, as all of the peons quickly jump inside their orc burrows to hide away. All right, a little bit of additional damage. Goblin Tinker, once again, without that passive ability. Or maybe he does have that passive ability now. Nope, needs one more, what's it called? One more level in order to start getting the passive ability here. Level 3 Pocket Factory, level 3 Rockets, and still Goblin Tinker, just running around the map. KraV sitting on nearly 3,000 gold, and has nothing and has no units to really show for it so far. The final scores are going to be pretty interesting here, as we're going to see the Pocket Factory and now the quick stun right there. Long duration stun to try and finish off some of those units. Healing Ward now placed down, and now going to finish off the Pocket Factory at the same time. All right, Pit Lord is at level 5, does deal some decent damage. Tauren Chieftain doesn't have an Orb of Lightning still, as we're looking at where the Fairy Dragons are. We also see a couple of Dryads down here. 3/3 upgrades on those Dryads as well. At this point, KraV is just trying to see if FranSe will make some sort of mistake. If he can force a mistake by FranSe, perhaps take down some of the buildings, or more importantly, remove this economic advantage, that is going to be a big loss. Peons are getting taken down. There goes, a couple of peons could get finished off here. Orb of Venom, another attack onto another peon. That's going to get taken down as well, as he's trying to retreat away. There's the stun. Peon does end up falling as the Goblin Tinker, rolls away again. All right, perhaps going to try and finish off some of these buildings once more. Those, you can see those stunning rockets, well, dealing damage to those buildings over and over, essentially just trading mana on the Goblin Tinker for hit points on buildings. Staff of Teleportation, outbound. Gonna head back here, perhaps drop the Pure Up to Vitality, gonna go ahead and heal up again. Get as much mana as he possibly can, back up to 183, and now gonna pick up that Pure Up to Vitality and once more try and engage. There's that anti-magic shell, a little bit of bonus damage, 67 supply compared to 37. FranSe trying to hold this back off. There's a roar as well as the Goblin Tinker could be in trouble. There's a couple more stuns, Potion of Invulnerability on them, Howl of Terror, shutting down a little bit of the Goblin Tinker's damage as the Fairy Dragon's actually going to Mana Flare mode for a little bit. Goblin Tinker down to 315 hit points, gonna try and drink up a little bit more Moonwell juice. No, hasn't done so since he's actually a mechanical unit. Mechanical units cannot get repaired or get healed up at the Moonwells. Gonna try to buy a Potion of Healing and a Scroll of Town Portal instead. There's another round of stun, finishing off some more units again, and still fighting his way through. 28 supply army compared to 46. The Fairy Dragons need to shift on over. Mountain Giants joining in on the battle as we see a long stun landing across multiple units again here. All right, KraV does have a Potion of Mana, still needs to find a way to get a little bit of additional healing. Rejuvenation could be what is in order as we are looking at some Druids of the Claw now getting trained up. Mountain Giants trying to roll off to the north here, 66 supply compared to 36, and without the death of the Goblin Tinker, well, chances of FranSe coming out ahead here are very slim. All right, more attacks getting underway here, trying to finish off some of these Mountain Giants. You can see some of these Fairy Dragons are phase shifting back out, perhaps trying to get repositioned again. Goblin Tinker still has plenty of healing going on here as the Goblin Tinker moves forward again. All right, FranSe or Torrent Chieftain looking to retreat back. Goblin Tinker, well, sitting at level 8, does have that passive upgrade finally. Fairy Dragons now, well, shifting away to Mountain Giants, Dryads, and Druids of the Claw who are already at Mastery training. Interestingly enough, the Goblin Tinker cannot get rejuvenated. It can only be applied to the Mountain Giants. Here. Are we going to perhaps see some? Well, there's some Howl of Terror as we see a quick transformation by that Druid of the Claw. Last stronghold, or last Great Hall now getting taken down. Fairy Dragons up overhead. No chances for any, well, healing wards without almost taking themselves out as the Goblin Tinker escapes away at 85 hit points. Fairy Dragon finishes off the Pit Lord, and now the Goblin Tinker is at level 9. However, Farseer is now at level 6. I don't know if I quite agree with level 6. A Chain Lightning, there doesn't seem to be that many targets to try and finish off, but at the same time, the Goblin Tinker did get away, but he's a mechanical unit in every single fight, so he's not going to be able to be targetable by that Chain Lightning at all. All right, Torrent Chieftain making his rounds across over here. They're going to check how this, how much gold is left in this Tree of Life, and quickly realize 700 gold is left. And, well, that's the reason why KraV has had such a strong economic advantage. Healing Ward being placed in the back here. Torrent Chieftain tries to put his foot down, but all the kids go running and hiding back inside that entangled gold mine. Chain Lightning bouncing around, nearly finishes off every single wisp right there as the Goblin Shredder, well, walks in through the fight and just quickly gets shut down. Torrent Chieftain now up to level 6. So level 6 Torrent Chieftain is a bigger deal as well, as it has, well, it has the ability to keep on fighting even if it gets knocked down again. Goblin Tinker could be in some serious trouble. He's going to get stunned down. He's going to try to go into Robo Goblin mode as well, as we see another stun being placed down here. Both sides still fighting their way through. Fairy Dragons getting cleaned up as... And, well, more Witch Doctors getting cleaned up here as we see a Stasis Trap head off on this entire ground unit here. Chimera are trying to retreat back, but FranSe finally leaving the game. KraV winning the game outright with pure economic advantage. by mining from so many gold mines. I don't believe I've seen a game go like this in a long time, where the amount of gold mined is so large, almost double, and that is after the gold lost to upkeep. Interesting game overall. Heroes, well, FranSe definitely gained more experience since he had more heroes out there. He had multiple level 6 heroes, but was still unable to bounce back against KraV's larger army. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.